What is going on, you beautiful lobster people, and welcome back to Jordan Peterson Wednesdays. Actually, not even a thing that I've ever said or done. Maybe it could be a thing, maybe not. Probably won't be. Anyway, super stoked to see your beautiful face around these parts again, and you know, we're gonna dive into Jordan Peterson talking about how he is not, what is it? I'm not anti-feminist. Okay, for me, Jordan Peterson brings a tremendous amount of value. I learn so much from listening to him, whether I agree with him or not. I learn, which is why I keep cycling back to these videos, and for the fact that y'all keep asking for him. So, you guys keep asking, you keep getting what you want. Let's get it. No long intro, man, let's dive right in.
The first thing I would say is that I'm not anti-feminist per se. I mean, I think the idea that the world would benefit from the movement of talent from both sexes into the workplace as rapidly as possible is something that anyone with any sense should share,
100%.
given the rather the rarity of talent and the necessity for utilizing it.
All right, dude, like, it's funny because already I feel like there are those people that just disapprove of him. Like,
I know what I think you stand for, and I don't like it.
So I'm gonna wear my damn Jackie O glasses and glare at you. What? Why?
I do stand by my original statement, though, that there's a brand of more radical feminism that insists that our culture is best characterized as an oppressive patriarchy, and I think that, first of all, that's an appalling sociological doctrine, and I think it has very negative psychological effects. And they won't be limited to men, because if it's true that there's something toxic...
I'm sorry, dude. By no means is anything about gender right now for me in terms of laughing. I just like people's facial expressions. I think that they're funny, man. In my mind, I put like little thought bubbles. Oh man, a double bacon cheeseburger would be good right now. What the fuck did he just say? I have no idea what he is saying.
Let's say about masculinity per se, what that will inevitably mean is that as women adopt more masculine roles, traditionally, what is that toxicity somehow going to go away?
But that's a straw man, because no one says there's anything toxic about masculinity per se.
What do you mean no one says that? The term exists.
No,
how is that a straw man? Well, where did the term come from?
It's a phrase that's used about forms of masculinity that are harmful to men and women. It's not about masculinity per se. You must know that.
I read the American Psychological Association guidelines for the treatment of boys and men, and I know perfectly well that this is no straw man. And it's not only devoted towards what you might describe as the more aggressive ends of masculine behavior. It's aimed at masculinity in a much broader range of. There's a much broader range of accusations that are under the surface than that. And so I don't see in what way at all that it's a straw man.
I'm just going to pause that argument for a second.
No one is saying that toxic masculinity exists per se. What? And I think that Jordan had a good point. It's like, the term exists. Right? Isn't that in and of itself meaning that people talk about it? Or that it does exist? What?
Go to Catherine McGregor. And Catherine, I mean, you've lived on both sides of the gender fence. So what are your thoughts on these issues? And just go back to the question that was raised.
I don't know whether that qualifies me or disqualifies me, frankly. Sorry, guys, I ratted on the team. But...
Sorry, guys, I ratted on the team. I love that type of humor, man. I love that.
Not for any sociological reason. It's intensely personal. I gather we might address that. But look, I'm not entirely out of sympathy with Jordan's critique. I'm the oldest person on this panel, bar you, Tony, and in my lifetime, I've seen rolling institutional crises through the West. You know, the great American settlement based on Bretton Woods and NATO and the United Nations and so on is fraying globally in the area that I can talk about with some authority. We're seeing a dissolving global order now with the rise of two autocratic totalitarian capitalist states, which is replicating the conditions of the 1930s. And I gather we're not doing the geostrategic stuff, but I think it's very alarming. When Robert F. Kennedy, who was my political hero, was running for the presidency of the United States in 1968, he addressed disenfranchised African Americans who were wearing the backlash from many white men who were losing their jobs or perceiving that they were losing their jobs. The deindustrialisation of the West as jobs are exported to the developing world, all of these factors are, Bobby Kennedy said it, it wasn't Germaine Greer that said it. He said, when you remove from a man the right to stand before his family as a breadwinner, and people will say that's patriarchal.
That's your minute, by the way. So
all right, well, I'll shut up. But the removal of meaningful work amongst especially unskilled men has a political consequence. And it's been washing through the American system since 1980 with the Reagan Democrats, the fraying of the New Deal coalition. I don't entirely agree with Jordan's analysis, but the problem can't be gainsaid. And 3 million books later in 50 languages or whatever it is, I bought your book, by the way, and you're outselling Shane Warne. Now, that's a culturally specific reference. That delights me in two ways, because in Australian cricket, no one has more bleached blonde hair.
I think that
or has had more.
I think that this is a perfect example of it doesn't necessarily matter who you are, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what gender, race, ethnicity, creed you are. At the end of the day, the lowest common denominator between people should be respect. And I think that this person right here is carrying themselves extraordinarily well, calm temperament, just an ability to articulate themselves. Again, it's like, you are respectful and make good points, then yeah, okay, cool, your minute's up, but keep going, I guess. I just love genuine back and forth. I love figuring out problems together. I love bouncing ideas off of one another and arguments, and all the entertainment aspect is there whenever you get really heated and passionate and emotional, but the more logical, calm-sided nature of these intellectual arguments are really what drives me to come back and view this type of content.
More work done than I, but Warnie's a close second.
we should put that out on Twitter.
Now, it's just an interesting note, right? I'm not saying one is right or wrong. I'm saying one is more persuasive authority, but Jordan Peterson is, what is he citing?
The American Psychological Association guidelines for the treatment of boys and men.
Okay, and lady in the red dress, what is she citing?
Because no one says there's anything toxic about masculinity per se.
Okay, so I think that there's this misconstrued idea that Jordan Peterson is against women. He is very for women, like especially getting up in the business realm and really making something of themselves. At the end of the day, like he said at the beginning of this video, it doesn't matter if it's man or woman, we should be into furthering society and making everything just better, right? That's what we should really be aiming for. So all in all, my takeaway from this video, respect. Again, doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you eat. That was weird. Have respect. And you too can argue for longer than your 1 minute allotted time. With that being said, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you want me to check out any more Jordan Peterson videos, drop them down below in the comments and I will see you. Keep smiling, keep being yourself. Don't let anybody throw shade at you. Love you guys. Peace.